Hi again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to, you've guessed it, another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you guys are having the most amazing Thursday ever and thank you so very much for joining me here today. So today we are building this house in Willow Creek, and if you've noticed, if you've got a keen eye, you'll probably notice that we are building next to my very recent base game house. So if you haven't already checked out that speed build, I will link it down below and you guys can check that one out hopefully after this one. Don't you go away just yet, but that's a really good one to watch. So that one was base game only. This one requires base game, cats and dogs and parenthood, and that's all you will need to download this house. It is a 5-bedroom 2-bathroom family home, and I think I'm really happy with how this came out. And for those of you who also have, again, quite a keen eye, I have installed RESHADE. So I spent a long time yesterday working out which RESHADE I wanted. I've been wanting to install RESHADE for quite some time, and I wanted something that was light, but basically all I wanted it to do was brighten and make my game look more colourful. And I have finally found the right one. So I will link it, I'll start linking it down in the description below from now on, because off the top of my head, I think I'm gonna have to look this up. So while I'm looking it up, you guys can just obviously watch, take a sip of your drink, whatever you're doing, and I will very quickly bring up the name of my new RESHADE, because off the top of my head, I have absolutely no idea what it is, but the person who created this, I mean, it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted, and I'm incredibly happy with it. So this RESHADE is by, I want to say it's Nexel, and it's Solar Breeze version 2. But again, I'll put all the details and a link down in the description below if you guys are thinking about installing RESHADE or anything like that. So this house, I decided to do a pack restricted build this time. So I've talked a little bit before on the channel about how I've wanted to do base game houses and pack restricted houses, and so we've done a base game. We have done very recently, I think it was 2 days ago now, we have done a base game and eco lifestyle house. I will also link that down in the description if you haven't seen that already. That's another good one to watch. That's a very quirky, I really like how that one came out. So that's a really good one to watch. I'll link it down below. But then I decided to add another pack. So I don't know why I went for cats and dogs and parenthood. I think in my head I was probably thinking I wanted to create this cozy, warm family house, and I think those packs just have the right items. Now it's very funny because I don't think at any point really during my base game build I struggled all that much with items and such, but this one was a bit more of a challenge. I think because I had more of a choice of I know this sounds a little bit weird, but I had more of a choice with the items that I could use, and so I think I was started to overthink things, and I wasn't actually planning on it being 5 bedrooms in all honesty. So there are 4 bedrooms upstairs, and there's a bedroom downstairs, and there's a main bathroom upstairs, and there's also a bathroom as you enter the house. In a perfect world, I wanted to get a 3rd bathroom in there, but the floor plan absolutely would not allow it. So this is what we ended up with. But you'll see, floor plan wise, I think this is probably one of my better ones. If you are returning to the channel, if you are familiar with my builds, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I think you guys, I talk about this all the time, my floor plans aren't the strongest, and it's definitely something that I need to work on. When I look for reference images, I think I need to start looking for reference images that have floor plans included, so that then I know what to put where. Because I think when I do the exterior of a build, this looks amazing. Like, I'm really happy with this. That's why I kept building. And so, but then I don't think about what the inside's gonna look like. I've started to think about it a little bit more. So there's a part on the back there which ends up being the downstairs guest bedroom, because I think potentially the family that lives here would quite like to have their grandparents round, or maybe they have an older child that's maybe away at university and they come and stay in that room. I don't really know, but I was going to turn it into an office, and then I decided to do a guest bedroom instead, because guest bedrooms aren't something that I do all that often in my houses, and I thought it just might be a nice idea. Obviously I don't know what kind of families you guys play with or you guys have, and so maybe this will be of some use to you. I hope so. Anyway, we are still working on the exterior of this build, and I'll be honest, it didn't really take me all that long to do. I think my main problem was that I was being very indecisive about colour swatches and landscaping. So for me, I think landscaping wise, this is quite light. You know, when you have a look at, if you keep seeing the one just to the well, now the left of the build, but on the right hand side here, my base game house, that's quite heavily landscaped, and that's just something that I've always done. I absolutely love landscaping, and sometimes, I don't know, maybe I take it a little bit too far, but it's just my style. You know, I think if you were to strip back the landscaping on my builds, I just don't think they would look the same, and so that's maybe why I do it anyway. And then we ended up getting rid of this chimney on the side here because I don't know, I couldn't find a brick swatch that I was really happy with, and so we ended up just ditching it altogether. And then I end up going into debug here for a lot of the landscaping, which I've started doing more and more and more because I think it keeps the price of the house down even just a little bit. I can't remember how much this house costs off the top of my head. It must be over 100,000 simoleons, but it's, I don't know, I think the debug landscaping just keeps that cost down that little bit more, you know, just because landscaping in The Sims is so expensive. I think we've talked about this before as well, but it's so expensive. Like, what? But then I think when you have a look at in real life, I think landscaping's quite expensive too. Anyway, we have now moved onto the inside of the build and we are working on the living room, and I'm taking a page out of April, aka Mrs. Reno's book, with the flooring, because I watched one of her speed builds very recently and she did this really cool thing with the flooring, and I was like, oh my, like, that is such a good idea. Why have I never thought of that? It's because I'm not that creative. I'm just not. And so thank you, April, for the idea. And yes, I have stolen it from you. I'm sorry. I hope I've done it justice, but yes, the living room, hands down, is my favorite room of this house. Normally it's the kitchen or one of the kids' rooms, but this living room just turned out really nicely. And because I don't really play around, I definitely haven't used these sofas for a long time. I don't even know whether I've ever used them in a build. I must have done at some point, but it's been such a long time, and I love it. I'm smitten with this living room. I think it looks amazing, and it is a very large room. But again, if this is a family that likes to have people around and they're a large family, then they're going to need large spaces to hang out and such. So the living room's a good size, the kitchen dining room's a good size, the whole house is a good size really. But it was really important to me because obviously I think a lot of people who download my houses play in the houses, and so I have to appreciate that you guys need things to be perfect, you know, and I try my best, my absolute best, to make things as perfect as I possibly can. I'm not saying my work is perfect, but I really try and get it as close as can be. And so again, we use a lot of items from the cats and dogs pack here. This chair, I have talked about this before, but in that swatch, I love it. I absolutely love it. There's also a footstool in the living room which has like a beige checkered effect on it. I absolutely love that as well. I'm in love. And then I think there are quite a lot of corners of this room where I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to put where, and so we ended up using a lot of lamps, a lot of chairs, just a lot of, I mean, I didn't want to over clutter it. I think on the other side of the room we ended up putting like a little area where a child can sort of do like paintings and stuff, which I thought was quite a nice touch, because the family that lives here, in my head, they're quite family oriented, and I want everyone in the family to feel like they have a place in the house. And so I didn't, and I'll be honest, I could have maybe put a dining room table back here, thinking about it, but there is a dining room table in the kitchen, so I didn't really feel the need to do that, and so I ended up just sort of making this like a little clutter zone, a clutter area. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. So, and I'll be honest, I'm obsessed with these base game curtains, and I think I discovered them when I did my last base game house, because I think automatically I go for the seasons curtains and the curtains that came with the Eco Lifestyle pack, and I tend to brush over the base game curtains because a lot of them, no offense EA, but they're kind of ugly. You know, I don't think that's a big secret, but they're kind of ugly. But these ones are absolutely gorgeous, and I really love how they look. So we use them in a lot of rooms in this house. So yeah, Anyway, and we end up putting, I can't remember what we end up putting here. Is it another bookshelf, or is it, no, it's this like this corner unit from Cats and Dogs, and I think we end up just putting like a little plant in a pot on there or something, because again, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with this area of the room, but I think it works. You know, I don't think I've gone too over the top with the clutter or anything like that. You know, I think it looks quite nice. But and I also tried to, I mean, I use a lot of plants in my builds in general, but I kind of tried to tone that down a little bit in this build, because I wanted it to be a bit more, I've no idea what I'm trying to say here, but I think for me, I'm looking at this room now and I can see so many plants. So just forget what I've just said. Just scrap it from your mind. And I'm putting in another plant right now as we speak. I really need to do like a plant lover's house or a plant lover's apartment, because I could just absolutely go to town on that. I think that'd be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? You know, I think that would be pretty cool. So no, again, not knowing what to put there, so I just put a lamp. And now we're working on the kitchen. So I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I've done this kitchen 4 times. This is the 4th time I've done it, and each time I did it, I've spent like 20 minutes on each version, and I've scrapped each version because they've just been like way below par. And I'll be honest, up until I started doing this kitchen, I was thinking in my head, do I really want to include Parenthood? Do I really want to do that? And then I thought, I want to use the cabinets from that game. So these cabinets here are from the Parenthood pack, and I really like them, and I don't use them in this particular swatch often enough, I don't think, but I think they work. I think they look quite nice. And so I think we underestimate how many clutter items we got in that pack as well. So we got like a bread bin and like this plate here, which we ended up removing because I went back and forth on this kitchen so much, and it's not one of my best kitchens. I'll you know, hold my hands up right now and say it's definitely not one of my best kitchens, but it's not terrible. It's just not some of my best work. And as I said, the living room, I think for me, is definitely my favorite area of the house by far. I also like the exterior of the house, but room wise, I think it definitely has to be the living room. And then I thought it'd be kind of a nice idea to put that board above the cooker, and then all of a sudden it just started to, I don't know, I didn't like the way it looked, so I'm pretty sure I remove it and then just put a shelf up there instead. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of backwards and forwards with this build, but sometimes that's just part of the process. You know, I think you have to sort of take the rough with the smooth, and I try not to put in too much of me into my speed builds, too much of me like going backwards and forwards, but it is a process. You know, building a house is a process, and it's one that I think I find it fascinating how people build. I've seen people, April, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you, but you are one of those people that you build like the front of the house and then you extend it back. Like, that's fascinating to me. Like, that's absolutely fascinating, because I don't work like that. You know, you guys have seen me build a lot of houses at this point, and I do the entire structure and then I work on and then, you know, I just, it fascinates me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna be honest here, that little room just off the kitchen with the archway, I thought, oh, it'd be so cute if I could do a laundry room. But obviously we didn't get washing machines until the laundry day pack came out, and this is a pack restricted build, and I kept going backwards and forwards. I was like, oh, one more pack will be fine. No. I had it in my head that I wanted to do Cats and Dogs and Parenthood, and that was my cut-off point for this house. So we end up if you guys want to download this and put a washing machine and a dryer in there, that is completely what it was intended for, so please go ahead. But we end up just putting like 2 counters, 2 cabinets and a sink in there. Because the thing is, like, without that room, it's just a really weird kitchen. Very strange. So do what you want with that room, but if you don't have laundry day, just keep it as it is. You know, your Sims have got an extra sink. Winning, right? Like, that's awesome. Anyway, And then I went backwards and forwards on what to put on this wall. So I ended up putting these end cabinets there. Now, I am not convinced that Sims can use these cabinets, you know, to like chop vegetables on or prep their food. I've no idea. I'll be honest, not a clue. When I play tested this, my Sim automatically went over to the counters in the kitchen area, which is what they're gonna do. But it'd be interesting to see if they could. I'm sure somebody knows. Somebody somewhere knows if they're functional. I'm pretty sure they're not. Anyway, now we're working on the guest bedroom. So this is a small room, which is why initially I wanted to turn it into an office. But we've already talked about why I didn't do that, so I'm not gonna keep talking over the same stuff. So it's very neutral. It's very clean, you know, as a guest bedroom. I don't have a guest bedroom in my house, but if I did, I'd want it to be quite similar to this. You know, it's very neutral, very clean, and when someone comes to stay over, they think, oh, this is a nice room. I like this a lot. You know, I think when I do end up moving house, hopefully this time next year, I will be in a different house, in our forever house, fingers crossed. But I would quite like to have a guest bedroom, although my husband and I have been talking, and I think we've already decided that we each want an office. So at the moment we share an office, which is a little bit of a nightmare when one, I need to work or he needs to work and we each have calls and things like that. But also when I'm wanting to do a voiceover for a speed build, he has to disappear because one, I can't do it in front of him. Like, it just seems weird. Two, if he makes a sound, I don't want it to be picked up. So a guest bedroom might not be on the cards, but we shall see. Anyway, so now we're working on the upstairs of the house, and I decided to turn this particular bedroom into a twin room, which is something that I went through a phase of doing this on the channel. I think for like 10 consecutive houses I was like, here's my twin room, yeah. I was so excited about it. But I came away from it a little bit, and boom, we're doing it again. So it's the twins room. Now it's quite feminine. It's, you know, it's quite girly and pink. But if you wanted to switch it up and turn it a bit more neutral, that's absolutely fine. The only reason I do things like this is because I love playing around with different colours. And the teen, I made a teen room, and I'm using the air bunnies again, but I did make a teen room which is gender neutral. So I mean, you could, in theory, they're all gender neutral, you know, but you can put whatever sim you want in here. And I just think, yeah, sometimes I like doing specific rooms is what I'm trying to say. Oh, so ineloquently. Anyway, and you know me, I love cluttering up kids' rooms. And now we're working on this is like the teen room or the young adult stroke university student room. So maybe the family that lives here have an older child, and they weren't planning on, maybe they've moved back home, or they weren't planning on them coming back home, if that makes sense. They've kind of popped them in this smaller room. I can imagine that perhaps one of the other children was initially in this room and they've given them a larger room, and now obviously the slightly older child is in here. That's like the way that I'm thinking about it anyway. Obviously you guys can turn this room into whatever you want and whatever backstories you guys have. You know, it's quite a versatile house, and I'm trying to cover all bases. You know, that's my goal. I was trying to cover all bases. So it's very cramped. You know, it's neutral. It's kind of neutral. You know, it's like white and grey with a splash of blue here and there. So you know, you can pretty much stick whichever sim you want to in here, essentially. But yeah, I mean, and then I also had an idea to make this really cute little like makeshift TV unit, because I didn't know what else to put there. I couldn't put a wardrobe because it wouldn't have been functional, but then we didn't need one because we had a chest of drawers, so that ended up working out quite well, to be fair. And then I had no idea what artwork to put on this wall, and so I can't remember what I ended up putting there. I think it's coming very, very soon. There it is. We ended up just settling on that. And initially I was going to take out me doing the bathrooms in this speed build, because I didn't record me doing the one downstairs. I think I like to try and keep my speed build videos as compact as I possibly can, whilst showing you guys as much as I can, if that makes sense. I don't feel the need to sometimes, if you've seen me decorate one bathroom, you've seen me decorate them all, because I try and keep them quite cohesive and fluid and like samey, because I think that's more realistic. Anyway, now we're talking about bathrooms. What on earth is going on here? So the landing, again, I decorated that a little bit off camera so you guys don't have to sit through that. But then we end up making this room a toddler's room. So this room's again very bright, very colourful. I think this is really cute. I like how this one came out, and you can see me using those curtains again. I told you I was obsessed. And so obviously this is a base game toddler bed. So I love this swatch with the orange and the blue. I think it looks really nice. And then this rug from Parenthood, I just thought it was a little bit of fun, you know, like why not use it, I guess. And yeah, obviously putting a little potty in there because your toddlers need to be toilet trained, and a bookshelf. And I really wanted to put a little chair in here, but I ran out of room and I wasn't prepared to remove anything that I'd already put down. So yeah, we end up just leaving the chair out, but that's okay. I think they can sit on the bed and read a book if I'm not mistaken, so it's all good. And then obviously we're adding a little bit of clutter here and there, some posters on the wall, and then I don't know, it doesn't look like I had a struggle here with deciding what to put on the wall, but I did, and then we end up settling on these cute little moons and clouds. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And the very last room, we are now working on the master bedroom. I did use this bed in my base game house, but I think we used a different swatch, so it's okay. I'm allowed to use this. This is very simple, very neutral, very clean, you know. I think maybe, well, it kind of matches the rest of the house, you know, let's be honest. So anyway, that pretty much wraps things up for today, guys. So if you did enjoy this build, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn notifications on so that you get notified whenever I post a video, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as well. But this build is available to download from the gallery. My origin ID is of course RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description below. You can download them from SimFile Share. But thank you very much for joining me here today, everyone. I hope you guys are having the most amazing day, and I will see you next time I post a video. Take care. Bye.